This is the Team 2 University IT final project for Part 1, the Integrated Project Plan. Scope Statement. Objectives. The objective of this project is to reorganize the disparate university IT departments into a single streamlined department to improve communication, utilization, and execution of university IT efforts. Accompanying this reorganization will be the development of consolidated information database to replace the unsupportable department-specific systems. 2. Description. This new database will create a functional, unified system to manage data as well as demonstrate the efficacy of the new IT department organizational structure that remedies the following recurrent issues. 31% of all projects are canceled before they are completed. 53% of projects overrun their budgets by 189% of their original budget, and only 16% of projects complete on time and within budget. Okay. The restructuring of the IT department requires the reduction of the compartmentalization of the current structure to promote efficient, user-driven solutions that are easily developed, implemented, and maintained. This new structure will be implemented immediately following the beginning of this project and field tested through the development of the new University Consolidated Database System. The new system must meet user needs while simplifying operations and maintenance. 4. Deliverables. The project plan is broken down into 2 phases, reorganization and database development. Reorganization will occur immediately upon project start date. During this phase, we will implement the new organizational structure at the outset of the project. Database solutions deliverables include project goals, cost analysis report, a new database solutions report, and the delivering of a security report. Acceptance criteria. The acceptance criteria for this project will include a functional database solution that meets the needs of end users and budget constraints laid out by the university. Constraints. The total cost may not exceed the total budget. The project team is limited to the individuals identified in the organization section below. Organization. The project team consists of a program manager, a cost analyst, a database administrator, and a hardware technician. Assumptions. The new organizational structure has been communicated to other departments. This project assumes that other departments will cooperate with the IT department implementing the new system. Initial defined risks. Risks include the functionality of the new IT department organizational structure, the likelihood of interdepartmental cooperation, and that a one-size-fits-all solution for the new database may not exist. Schedule milestones. The major project milestones are broken down into 3 distinct phases over 2 weeks. Phase 1 will be the project kickoff, during which an initial meeting and reorganization will take place. Phase 2, the majority of the project, will consist of researching the new database system to implement and take place over the following 2 weeks. The final phase will consist of delivering a report to the school administration proposing the new database system. Any changes to the scope of this effort will be handled in accordance with the change control plan. Baseline project cost, schedule, and quality will be assessed and a decision made thereafter. Searching and delivery of reports.
The project schedule. The project schedule is developed and derived from the WBS structure that's found above. As one can see that the sections of the WBS are pointed out 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, and 4.0. Each one of these sections contains elements or tasks of the work that are going to be done inside of the WBSs. For instance, you could take task 3.5, which is highlighted, develop security measures. This will have a duration of 4 hours. It will start on the 12th, and it would also end on the 12th. Its predecessors would be 3.4, which would be identify the best value solution. This task is specifically assigned to the hardware technician. This is just one case, and it was just to show the example of the columns. The project itself, it's supposed to be held under 14 days. The duration that is projected is 13.38 days. Project start would be on the 4th of August 2014, and the finish would be on August the 21st, 2014. On the next slide is a image of the Gantt chart of the schedule. Here shows the project manager, the database administrator, the hardware technician, and the cost analyst, all in a Gantt schedule form. This shows the schedule from the projected dates from the 4th to the 21st, and it outlines all the tasks. Projection of budget. The first graph shows the projected total budget. First you have the current start budget, which is projected on the 4th and going to the 21st with a duration of 14 days, including, or at least adding up to, or equaling 154 hours. Total cost being said, it would be $3,794. The second table shows the labor resource rates and how that's broken. This shows each position and the standard rate for each of the position. All positions are standard on the base calendar and are accrued prorated. Program manager makes $36 an hour. Database administrator, $31 an hour. Hardware technician, $15 an hour. And cost analyst, $17 an hour. The labor resource rates are shown again, but also to include with the labor resource allocations. The labor resource allocations shows each of the positions and how each of the positions applies to each element inside of the schedule. For instance, the program manager is working a total of 32 hours on all of his projects. One would be the reorganization, two would be setting the project goals, and three would be compiling all of the reports to generate a manager report. Each one of those are broken down into hours and given their specific rates in the right column. And I think that.
Okay, we have determined our staffing requirements. We have narrowed it down to 4 positions for this project, which is reorganizing the ITD department starting on August 1st, ending on August 20th. We have a program manager whose total hours would be 60 hours at $36 an hour, a cost analyst at 30 hours, $17 an hour, database administrator, 57 hours at $31 an hour, and a hardware technician at $15 an hour. We are going to jump into the communications plan. The University ITD reorganization communication plan will have a new structure. It will outline the project teams regarding the actions and processes, and the overall objective is to promote the success of a project by meeting the information needs of the stakeholders and outlining the goals of our project. In a communications plan, the key stakeholders are very important in identifying in a communication aspect. The project IT team is comprised of all persons who have a role performing work on the project. They need to have a clear understanding of the work to be completed, and the project team is responsible for the day-to-day communications and with the project manager, along with weekly team meetings, defining the schedule and work packages. The next one is University Steering Committee. That includes all the management that represent the department, which make up the organization. They provide oversight for changes. They also ensure that anything that's done must be approved as far as scope changes and deliverables. Technical lead is the person on the project team who is responsible for ensuring all technical aspects are addressed and implemented in a technically sound manner. They also require close communication with the project manager and project team. And lastly, the university organizations who will be using the Uniform Enterprise Resources Planning System, which will help to serve the university's academic and administration needs. In addition, they utilize the IT department resources to assist any technical computer, network issues, and projects. The communication flow chart reminds us that if we have issues, we would go through the project communication chart. It discusses the different avenues depending on your situation. If it's a priority 1, the vice president would have the authority. Priority 2, project sponsor. Priority 3 would be a project manager, and priority 4 would be a project manager.
Okay, so you want me to just start reading this off? All right, not a problem. So we're starting with approach. Quality control plan. The first thing is approach. The quality management approach for the project will ensure quality is planned for both the product and process. In order to be successful, this project will meet its quality objectives by utilizing an integrated quality approach to define quality standards, measures quality, and continuous improve quality. Next is defining quality standards. Product quality for the project will be defined by the company's current standards of service. The focus is on the project's deliverable, and the standards and criteria being used will ensure the product meets established quality standards and customer satisfaction. Schedule. The project manager will monitor the schedule to ensure that deadlines are being met. If the project falls behind, a cost-benefit analysis will be performed to determine whether any project criteria can be crashed without greatly impacting the budget. Okay, we're going to go into resources. The project manager will collect matrix on resources utilization and implementation to ensure efficiency deployment of project resources. Cost. The project manager will keep daily matrix on the overall cost of the project, performing earned value management to determine whether the project is remaining within budget. Problem areas will be identified and dealt with. Lastly is product performance. The project manager will maintain product quality throughout the project by monitoring several matrices. Quantitative matrix including database, operational uptime, and server data capacity. Qualitative matrix will be derived from surveys of end users to measure systems, perceived values, the fulfillment of users' requirement baselines, and open-end suggestions. Next, we talk about change control plan. An introduction of the change control plan consists of there are many scenarios in which changes to the project may be necessary. Team EMT's change control plan identifies potential scenarios in which changes may occur, outlines the timelines in which changes are most expected, and establishes a change control process. The project areas subject to change. If any substantive change or adjustments, if any sustainative changes or adjustments to the project are required, they will occur at the following 2 steps. We have the 2 steps, which is end of plan phase and end of design phase. Now, in the end of plan phase, there are 4, which is the scope, timeline, financial, and end user requirements. Starting out with the scope, the project charter may be subject to change prior to final approval. That's the first. The second is the project detailed requirements may be subject to change prior to final approval. Next is timelines, which is number 2. Any changes must be completed during the design planning phase. Number 3 for financial is the financial baseline estimates are subject to change during the design phase. Okay, number 4, the end user requirements. End user requirements baseline are subject to change during design. Okay, now we get into number 2 of the end of design phase, which consists of 4, the scope, the timeline, financial, and end user requirements. The scope consists of technical design is subject to change prior to final approval. Number 2, change to project scope must now adhere to the project change requirements request process. Next is timeline. Changes to the project timeline must now adhere to the project change request process. Number 3, financial. Financial baselines are finalized, and also increasing budget requirements approval from the Vice President. Last, we have end user requirements. End user requirements are finalized, which is number 1, and number 2, any changes to functionality deviating from the end user requirement baseline must adhere to the project change request process. And then right on the bottom, we have a change request